Greetings, friends. Dennis LaRue here with your hashtag steeltoesrequired quote of the week. Episode 52, 52 weeks in a year. This is the 1 year episode of hashtag steeltoesrequired quote of the week. I can't believe it. 52 weeks, 1 year. 1 year ago, this weekend, we started. And so, a lot has happened in here. Hey, Mom. Hey, Jamie. Glad y'all are both watching. my biggest fans. Hey, Brian, what's going on? 1 year I've been doing these quotes. And these are quotes that have been important to me recently. And I've taken you guys back to when I was a kid on some of the quotes that have impacted me and the lessons I've learned. Mike, glad you're watching. So, I've just enjoyed doing this. I mean, I hope this has added value to you. That the lessons that I've learned and how these quotes have impacted me, I hope they've impacted you. Hey, Holly. And so, I've got a great quote tonight. And there's a certain theme in a lot of my quotes that's very important to me. And it's the idea of giving everything you've got. Because this life, that's it. You only get one opportunity. You know, I talk about running all the time. You know, there are a lot of races on the weekends, but there's only one race in life. That's it, one race. There are no do-overs. There's no, well, I'll catch it on the next race. I had a bad race this time. I'll get to do another. Melanie, what's going on? Glad to see you here as well. And so tonight's quote is anonymous. It's an anonymous source. But it is such a great quote, and you better be ready for this because it ties into the themes. And here it is. The quote is, "When I leave this earth, I want to leave spent." Did you get that? I mean, I'm having a hard time containing myself from that quote. When I leave this earth, I want to leave spent. Used up. Poured out. Everything within me has been given out. Completely spent. Now, I've run a marathon. I've run a couple. Some of you out there have run more than I have. But I remember how I felt on my first marathon. I crossed that finish line completely spent. I mean, there was nothing left within me. I couldn't walk upstairs for 2 weeks after that race because of how spent I was. Trent, glad you're watching. And that is how we are supposed to end this life. But unfortunately, there are so many, JC, what is going on? There are so many of us in this life who are running our race like we're traveling in our cars and we're using cruise control. We're trying to be efficient and effective with our fuel and the gas pedal and saving our time and enjoying the trip. But the problem is, that's how we're running our lives. Folks, you can't run your life on cruise control. Cruise control may be great for your car, but it's awful for living your life and making an impact. For the running community, how many of you run a race and you find yourself kind of cruising along and you realize, oh wait, the finish line's coming up, and you, quote, kick it in. I'm guilty of that. I've done that before. I've waited till the end of a race to kick in and get a win and maybe pass a few people. But life isn't meant to be that way. You're supposed to be spending yourself. You don't wait till the end and then use yourself up. There's too much left. There have been many times where people cross the finish line. Imagine this. You get to the finish line, you say, you know what? I still got something left in the tank. I've done that. I've crossed the finish line of a race and said, you know what? I could probably go run this race again. Why? I didn't run to my full potential. I didn't run to my full capability. And I didn't go all out. And that's shame on me. You can get away with that, maybe running a race, because there's going to be another race. But you can't get away with that running the race of life. There are no second chances when it comes to living and doing your life over again. You can't go back to the start and do it again. You got to start from where you are and move forward. So, what does that look like? How do you spend your life? How do you go all out? A couple of things came to my mind as I was wrestling with this quote. One of the things is you've got to develop what your purpose is. What's your purpose? What's your calling? Some of you already know that. So that's the focal point, because that is what you are driving to. That's where your race is. That's your lane, if you will. And that's where you got to go all in. So how do you spend yourself in that lane? You know, one of the tools that I use, and I shared this in August at the John Maxwell event, I actually got to be on stage with John and share this with him. And that's my rule of 5. There are 5 things that I do every single day that I do for the sole purpose of pouring myself out to others. Every day I write. Every day I read. Every day I inspire. Every day I network, and every day I grow. I do those 5 things every single day. Write, read, inspire, network, grow. And when I do those 5 things every single day, take the first letter of each one. I'm military. We love our acronyms. WRING spells ring. And when I do those 5 things every single day, I'm wringing out every ounce of potential within me so I can hear the master say, well done. Those are the 5 things that I do, and focused on being a source of transformation, being a tool and a resource to help others live the best version of their lives and get to where they want to go. Those are my 5. That's one way you can help yourself grow, is developing your own rule of 5. What does that look like? Think about the things, the people, and the skills, and the tools, and the resources you have, and your calling, and come up with your own rule of 5. And do those things every single day. When you do those 5 things every single day, it's kind of like chopping down a tree. Big, giant, huge tree. If you take 5 good hits at it every day, what's going to happen over time? Tree's going to fall. What's the big tree in your life? At the end of your race, that big giant tree needs to have fallen. What is it? Who is it? So get your rule of 5. That's one tool to help you be spent. But there's also a flip side to being spent. When you pour yourself out into people, when you touch people's lives, when you're giving and adding value, guess what happens when you're pouring yourself out? You're getting poured into. And there's that sense of accomplishment. There's that sense of joy. There's that sense of peace that you can only explain from within. And at the same time, you are spending yourself out, exhausting yourself for the mission, a quote that we've used. One of my favorite quotes that I have shared during Steel Toes is exhaust yourself in the mission. And when you do that, when you exhaust yourself in the mission, there is a sense of gratitude, there's a sense of joy, there's a sense of accomplishment, and you leave empty, but yet full on the inside. And there's nothing better than that balance of pouring yourself out and then having that balance of knowing you poured yourself out, and that sense of satisfaction, that sense of completion, that sense of joy that you lived a life where you hear the master say, well done. That's what we all want. That's what we all desire. What are some resources, what are some tools that you use that help you live your life out in this way, spending your life? Because at the end, it's about legacy. What's your legacy going to be? When the day comes and it's your funeral, what are they going to say about you? Guess what? You don't have to leave that up to chance. You don't. You write your own story now. And the way you want to be remembered and the legacy you want to leave, you start today doing that, because when the day comes and you do leave, they're going to share exactly what the story you want to be said. So write your story now. Don't wait for somebody else to write your story for you. Write your story today. Because when you spend yourself out to others and you get to the end, You don't want to leave it to chance. You want to leave it to opinion, subjectivity. It'll be very clear what your story is. It'll be very clear what your legacy is. And you're going to be very clear about the joy inside of you in hearing, well done for the life you lived. But you can't do it in cruise control. So quit living life in cruise control. Get rid of it. Pretend you're driving a stick shift and you've got to use every bit. Every bit. Those of you that know what I'm talking about, driving a stick. Learn how to drive a stick. Quit relying on cruise control. It's a great tool. It's a great tool for your car. But for your life, cruise control takes you into the mode of mediocrity, average, complacency, and you end up cruise controlling in life and not pursuing the life that you were meant to pursue. One other resource, one other tool to help you get focused, besides my rule of 5. Get your rule of 5. And if you want, use my rule of 5. Another resource is people. Who are you investing in? Who are the people in your circles to invest in? Because there's a reason you've been given the gifts, talents, abilities, your superhuman skills and powers. There's a reason for them. And it's for the people that you come in contact with each day. Look for those divine appointments. Those divine appointments. Because not only is it a divine appointment for you, but it's a divine appointment for them. There's a reason they're meeting you. So be in tune with the people you meet, what they say, and also in tune with your intuition on what to share and give to those people. Those are just a couple of things, the rule of 5 in the people, to help you spend your life in a way where you leave a legacy, and when it's time for that, when it's time for the end to come, you're not going to say, I wish I had, I should have, I could have, I didn't. The whole regret theme, you're going to say, I'm ready. I've lived a life, I have exhausted myself for the mission, and it's time for me to go. That's the kind of life you want. That's the kind of life I want. And so here we are at the 1-year anniversary of Steel Toes. 1-year anniversary. What will you do today based off of this quote? When I leave this earth, I want to leave empty. Put it in the comments. Because you see, that's what this is all about. This isn't about me just sharing quotes and having some fun, which I am. It's about what do we do with the information? Because our problems, all of the problems that we have in society are not due to lack of education or information. It's a lack of application and it's a lack of execution. So how are you going to apply this message today, and how are you going to execute it into your life? Because that's what matters. And that steps on my toes. I know it steps on yours. It's a great place to wrap a bow for this 1-year anniversary edition of Steel Toes Required. Thank you, Melanie. And let's see. Yeah, you can't be afraid to try, Mom. Absolutely. Still going another year? Hey, great question, Mom. You know what? I probably will. All of you that are here watching this, the comments and encouragement that I get from you throughout the week, you got to feed a starving market, right? That's what I've heard said. Feed a starving market. So if you're enjoying this, which I hope you are, I'll keep going. If you guys are enjoying these quotes, I'll keep going because I keep learning. Part of my rule of 5, every day I grow. And one of those ways I grow is new quotes, new applications, new ideas to do something new for the first time. And then share. The best way to add value to people is teach what you're learning. It reinforces the teaching to you and adds value to those you're teaching. Clint, glad you're watching. Same with you, Rebecca. Thanks for catching us. So here we are at the end of Steel Toes. One of my favorite parts. It's the blessing. It's a blessing for all of you. And it goes like this. I pray the blessing of bread that you know no hunger. I pray the blessing of salt that your life would be flavorful, but also that you would be salty to others. Make them thirsty for what you have in your life. And I pray the blessing of wine, that joy and prosperity would be yours, and that the love of God would be your portion this day and forevermore. Folks, thank you so much for watching Steel Toes for this year. I am blessed beyond measure because of you. And do me the honor, if this added value to you, would you just like this and then share this with folks in your network? And let's get people living a life where they're spending themselves out for others. Because isn't that the golden rule? We want to live the golden rule. Pouring out, giving to others. Not because we get anything in return. What we get on the inside it changes everything. But it's pouring into others. And when we pour into others, they pour into others. We love compound interest in money. How about we get some compound interest in people's lives? So there you go. There you have it. Jamie just posted the blog up there. The blog is ready. It's on my website, DennisLaRue.org. Blog. It's Spend Your Life is the title of the blog. Go read it, enjoy it, and thank y'all so much for watching. #SteelToesRequired, quote of the week. Have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you next week, episode 53, year 2, edition, episode number 1. Thanks, everybody. Take care, and bye for now.